The Black Edition Faber Castell felt tip brush pens came out last year. They are a much lower price point than a lot of their other supplies. And we're going to investigate today if they are worth it, if you should spend your money on these, or you should invest in some of the gold Faber or the Pitt pens. I'm Jenny from Jenny's Crayon Collection, and I want to help you reconnect with your inner creativity, because I think everyone can be creative. They just have to know the right supplies and how to use them. And in this video, we're going to look at the swatches for these felt tip pens. We're going to see how you can use them. We're going to see if they blend together, if they layer on top of one another, if you can make new colors, and we're going to see if they do watercolor. And let me tell you, they didn't do one of these things, and we're going to see that in this video. I'll leave the links below for the paper that I used and the pens so you can pick them up if you want to. Here are the new Black Edition felt tip pens. They're actually markers with brushes on them. I don't know why they call them that sometimes. Felt tip pens with brush nib. It says brilliant colors and soft brush nib for variable line widths. Washes out of most fabrics. Color of the ink based on food dyes. So we're going to go through and we're going to write them all out. So let's take a look at these really fast. First thing I notice, oh my gosh, Faber Castell, they normally do so well with their markers and all their other supplies. They did not put a color name on this. That's my number one thing is yeah, you can make cheap art supplies, but why is it so hard to not put a color name on these things? So I'm going to see real fast. I have to go look and see if I can find color names, because this is going to bug me if I'm swatching these out and I don't have the right color names for you. So I'll be back. We're going to get the color names and we're going to make sure we swatch these right. Blick has come through again for me. If you need color names, Blick is the place to go. So we have all the color names. We don't know exactly which ones are which. These are brush nibs. So brush nibs you can do lettering with pretty much. And then you can illustrate with them is what they're really good for. So we're going to do some up and down. I'm not sure what this color is, so I'm just going to leave it as is. And we're going to go through and do process of elimination, right, for my colors. Okay. Okay. I feel like that one's purple, but we're going to make sure. We're just going to go through these first before we make any judgments. Okay. I feel like this one might be one of those light blues, but we're just gonna not do anything yet. Okay. Okay, so I think this one's definitely pink. Okay. Okay, so we got pink. And this one is light pink. So last week I did another brush marker. They're just popping up everywhere. The Flare that I've previously not made them. Faber Castell has made these kind of markers before, and I have a review for those. They are significantly more expensive, so these are really in that budget space, and they appear to be doing pretty well. I feel like they're water-based from what I read. We'll test that out with our red there for sure. I think it's just those blues and the light purples and everything that we just want to make sure. So I'm not going to put anything in quite yet. Okay, so dark orange. Oh my gosh, very thick. You have to be careful. That's how you practice, right? Okay, so I love the like ombre effect that it's giving right there. Okay, I feel like this one's gonna be orange. This one's kind of a light orange. I would say, I don't know, that feels more orangey to me, but. Okay, very pretty. I believe this one's yellow. Okay, pretty easy. Okay, very similar yellows. So this one is light yellow. Okay, and I think this one's going to be tan. Okay. And this one's going to be dark green, I believe. As usual, I'm kind of running out of space because that's what happens. Ooh, I like that dark green. So far I love the colors. They're super vibrant. They do not have the Faber Castell color matching system in them because they're cheaper. And they just didn't spend the time to do that or name them, which makes me mad. I mean, they have names for them, but they did not put them on the marker. So this one, I think, is green. Okay. And then I'm thinking that this one's going to be light green. We're going to double check, though, before I make any assumptions on these. These are so similar. So I think this one's mist. Okay. And then this one is light green. So these ones you would definitely want to label. Because, yes, very different. Okay. I'm thinking that this one, there's a dark blue and a light blue and a blue, which confuses me. This is more like of a cerulean. Okay, so we're going to put that one there. I think that one's the blue. I will say I like the color palette better on these than the, so this one's a dark blue. I only have 3 more colors, guys. 3. Why do I do this to myself like every single time? I always run out of space. Okay, so I think this one's the light blue, or this one's just the blue. But it's a cerulean, which is actually a great one for this because that's kind of what was missing with the other one. So this one is light blue, but I feel like this one's more like a light violet blue. So yeah, I'm gonna write light blue, but I don't agree with that one at all. No. Okay, and then this one, the color matte, I will say too, like while we've been doing this, like that doesn't even match the color. So these are super cheap. You get what you pay for, basically. I will say, though, I have the more expensive ones, and they don't necessarily match all the time either. Okay, and then this one must be the light purple, which it's not. I feel like this one's the light purple, but that one's not blue. So, yeah. I feel like they didn't name these correctly. Like, this is light purple. That should have been light purple. And then, this one should be another name, but I'm going to call this light purple because that's what's in the list. even though I don't agree with those names at all. Okay, so now we're back to the bottom with so little of space. Pinot is just brown, black, and a gray, right? We know these colors. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I do this. Okay, so I'm not loving that the gray is so dark, because especially if you're using these for lettering, that gray is super dark. I like it for highlights. Okay. So we're gonna look at like the blending and the water and all that stuff on this one. That's our light. I mean, that's not much blending. We're gonna try this way. Bring this in. Okay, so I do get some blending, a little pilling, but I do get blending. So it looks like the way to do it is to bring the light out of the dark. And now we're gonna do some water stuff with these. We're gonna take this one again. Purple is pretty, right? So it did say it will wash out, so that indicates to me that it is water soluble. Oh, that's interesting because, oh my gosh, this is weird. Huh, no, I would not use these for watercolors. Compared to the flares last week, those ones were super nice for like watercolor, and these are not. These are good like for, you know, coloring and stuff. Like, it's a super, like, look at that. I would definitely use these for coloring and everything. Like, that's super uniform when you're doing things. You got this uniform color. It kind of sits on top of the page a little bit. So I have another marker. So this is the Faber Castell. This is kind of also in the like not super high line, and I can pull out the other ones too. All right, so this would be comparable. So this is like the nice one, the purple violet. It has a number, it has a light fast rating and everything. And so this is what this one looks like. Does it match? Not totally either, but I found that these are not consistent. They do sell them in a bigger size, which I want to buy, but I have not yet. I don't think these ones are water soluble either, which they're not like super intended to be. They're actually not water soluble at all, pretty much, because they are made with India ink, which are light fast. So these are totally different, but I'm like a similar product from Faber Castell. This would probably be the more comparable one, which is a sketch marker from Faber Castell. So I actually, we'll put the red out. So that's the red on that one. And then this one has 2 tips, right? And then you can also do that like a fine tip. Okay, so we got these ones, which I do like the color better, like the red color. But let's see if this one right here is gonna give me any sort of watercolor either. Okay, so yeah, these ones are actually similar to these ones. So I'm not sure what kind of ink they put in here, but it seems like these ones might be a better bet to get than these ones. These ones are super cheap though. So like these are super, like, you won't get the same light fast that you'll get out of this one right here or this one. I'm not sure, it does not have the light fastness rating on the actual marker like this one does right here. So I'm not exactly sure what the light fastness of this one would be. They don't really advertise that. But it does look, I mean, they go on the paper super nice and everything. It's super dark though. Let's look at the colors. The colors on here are super vibrant. I love them a lot. So what we're gonna test over here on this side is like making new colors, because these are like the CMK values as opposed to like red. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have 1, 2. So now we're gonna look at this one. See, we get an orange, which is awesome. And then with that one, we'll definitely get a green. Though that's so pretty. And then with this one, we should get a nice purple. Oh my gosh, these are great. So you can make new colors. So I should do like a whole video of the different colors you make. So there are limitations to these markers. They're not, you cannot use them as watercolors. You can blend them together though, like they will blend together. They will make new colors. They're not like fast. They will go on really smooth. So there's definitely some advantages and some disadvantages to these markers. But I think that's so cool. I love making new colors with markers, especially when they go on that pretty. And they make such pretty colors. So what do you guys think? Do you like these markers? I think they're a really cool set. Like, so compared to the set I did last week with the flare pens that were dual, I feel like they needed this yellow, this blue, and this pink, and this set has it. These are not watercolors like the other ones were last week, but they're super pretty and I like them. I like the ombre, so I feel like these would be really, really good for lettering or if you're coloring something in. The Faber Castell felt tip black edition pens, I think they were decent. For the price point, I would say yeah. If you want a color palette that is really pretty that you can use and that you can color with, they did really good on paper. They were pretty consistent with the lay down, so there wasn't a lot of streaking. You can blend them together. You can layer them on top of each other to make new colors. You can't do watercolor with them, but that's maybe a good thing because then that way if you get water on it, it won't go everywhere. So sometimes watercolor is a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. But for this, it would be just fine. They don't have color names, which was a major disappointment. Come on. Faber Castell has always had their color names on it, and they make a new product and they don't put the color names. That was probably the biggest thing that disappointed me. I'm like, come on. Just because they're cheap art supplies doesn't mean that we don't like color names. If they're cheap, that does not equate. We want to be confused because I can tell you people get super confused if they don't have the color names. And I have seen that so much with like the super tips from Crayola and from other like Sharpies that people want those color names. Just because they're cheap art supplies doesn't mean we don't want the color names. So please stop doing this to us, companies. Just take a hint and put the color names on there, even if they're cheap. They're good quality. I would probably recommend these if you don't want to spend the money and purchase some of the other ones. Like I haven't purchased all of the gold Faber brush pens just because I have all of the Tombos and I didn't really think I needed them. And I have the Pitt artist pens, but I actually want to get the other ones that are like the double-ended ones. But I think these are great for now and they're really good for coloring. Lettering is what I would use them for. I hope you have a great day and we'll see you in the next video.